Hi, I'm Mel Ingalls, the creator of the Pressure Free Method, and I'm so glad that you're here to check out this free training that I've created for you. So I'm going to go ahead and share my slides. Hang on just a moment here while I pop these babies up for you. And this is a really powerful training, so I'm really glad that you're here. Let's just hit this play button, and then we'll be all ready to go. So this particular training is 5 fast action tools that improve your focus, give you more energy, and stop you from self-sabotage. And this is for you, especially if you're afraid to fail or feel like you just don't have what it takes. Let's see. First, I want to introduce myself in a way you'll always remember me, and I encourage you that when you meet people to find some kind of funny way so that people can remember who you are, because we tend to forget each other right after our initial meetings. And so my name is Elle. That's just one syllable, like the letter L. And you may remember this movie Legally Blonde with an L. Well, I am illegally blonde, okay? And it's the French pronoun for she. So one syllable, L. And Ingalls is my last name, and yes, my husband is related. So that's just kind of funny. And I always like to, when I start working with someone, if you were my private client, the first thing that we would do is we would get in a frame of mind and body where we can really learn together. So I'd love for you to do that with me if you're so inclined. So I call it unpinching ourselves, because we pinch ourselves in a lot of different places. And I've kind of, I've chosen 5 here that are the main places where we tend to constrict ourselves. So the first, you see the business person here with a watch on. So if you're wearing a watch or something tight around your pulse points, let's loosen it for a moment. Take it off, relax it. If you're wearing a bra, unhitch it. If you're wearing a tie, loosen it a little bit. If you're wearing shoes of any kind, particularly heels or anything pointy, go ahead and take off your shoes and really relax your toes down onto the floor. That's going to help your concentration, and it does what I call unpinch yourself, so that your nervous system is not constricted in places. And the last is the belt. So if you're wearing a pair of tight pants or a tight skirt, you can unbutton the top button or undo the belt, whatever might be constricting you around your abs. That's letting go of your body armor. The more body armor we build up, so the tightness around our body, but also the tightness especially in the front of our body, that gives different signals to people. So just take a little body scan for a moment and start first with the abdominal muscles. So are you holding them tightly? If I hold my abdominals tightly, so my shoulders are going to start to curve over, and we actually get in kind of a C curve. So I want you to relax those ab muscles for a moment. Really relax them so your body can go wide and relaxed. And then relax your throat muscles too, and the tops of your hands and feet. When we go like this, we're afraid, right? And so if your toes are up and your hands are tight, constricted, that really affects you in so many ways. So see if you can get the tops of your hands soft and your feet too. And then take a look at your facial features and come in close here for a moment. So, is your face tight? Are you in a scowl? Do you have furrows here? See if you can just take a moment to relax your face. Be really open here. And all of this openness is going to help you retain the information that I'm going to be sharing with you. A lot of times we tighten off. We'll cross our arms, we'll cross our legs, we tighten the front of our body. And to be honest, we're not in a frame or our nerves are not in a situation where we can learn really well. So this is just going to help, and hopefully you feel a little better too. Have you ever done something really well, but then minutes or hours later felt really terrible? For me, it's violin playing. I'll play a concert and I'll feel like I'm amazing at one point, but then I start to get self-critical. And within minutes or hours later, I'm really not as in great a frame of mind as I was before. Have you ever asked yourself, why can't I do this? Or what's wrong with me? Have you ever compared yourself to others and just felt like you're not good enough? Have you ever said something or done something you felt was really stupid and wish you could take back? In this training, you're going to discover the #1 reason why you may feel defeated, how to overcome negative thoughts, how to give yourself permission to fail and succeed, and how to stop self-sabotaging and become your own best friend. If you felt of any of those things that I just shared, then you've come to the right place, because I've done all of those things many times, especially the, thing where I say something or do something where later I just feel like, why did I do that? I wanted to share a couple of stories about two clients who have worked with me. This is Heather. And I'm sharing them because when things aren't going well, or when we self-sabotage, we can really get stuck in it. And Heather was stuck for a couple of months. She's a high-ticket business coach for photographers. And she was dealing with stress and fear and uncertainty because she hadn't been booking any clients. And then she started to learn with me. So this is what she said. After 2 months of not booking any high-ticket clients in my business and dealing with the stress, fear, and uncertainty, I had an opportunity to learn the pressure-free method from Elle. I immediately put them into practice and saw a drastic change in my being and my reactions to stressful situations. Then 2 days after her coaching, I booked a $5,000 client out of the blue. I'm incredibly thankful for Elle's method, and I'm blown away by her passion to help people stop being victims of stress and start achieving lives full of joy. Thank you, Elle, from the bottom of my heart for your wisdom, guidance, support, and your pressure-free method. So another person, I work with people of all ages, and you may be a student here, or you may have a young person who's dealing with stress, anxiety, fear of failure. And here's an example of a hockey player I worked with, hockey goalie. Before working with Elle, I would get angry and slam my stick every time a goal went in. From the first session, I noticed a difference. Instead of getting angry, I thought about how I could make it better. I respect myself more, and I respect others more. If you go on my website, you'll actually see a video testimonial that Reed did for me as well. So just two examples of people who have overcome that fear of failure, that feeling like I'm just not good enough here, and I'm just, not going to be able to succeed. And sometimes it is so untrue. We're just stuck. So I'm going to dive right into tools here. I'm all about tools, ways to help you with the things that really keep us stuck and keep us down. So this first tool is to stop the stress response. The number one reason why you may feel defeated is that your brain isn't thinking clearly because of stress hormones. So what are stress hormones? Well, in my courses, I go really deep into these things. If you've ever taken a course with me, you know that, but that is really my deal. I teach you all about fight or flight and the stress hormones, but here I'm just gonna very briefly share just to get you started. So there are two floods of hormones. There's the catecholamine or adrenaline stage, and then there's the glucocorticoid or cortisol stage. And we call them adrenaline and cortisol, even though they are really cocktails of hormones, lots of chemicals going out. And just take a look at this list for a moment, and you're going to see a lot of things that would give you a clue as to why we're not thinking very well and why we may be saying really nasty things to ourselves when we're stressed out or when we've triggered these stress hormones. First of all, we don't feel good at all. We shut off this chemical called dopamine in our brain, which is our feel-good drug. So now we don't feel good. And we can have all these negative thoughts, insomnia, impaired judgment, memory lapse, brain neuron damage. One of the biggest causes of all brain diseases is the release of these stress hormones. So we're going to help you stop releasing these stress hormones, because these are the things that are causing your brain to not work as focused as you wish it could. So all of the powerful parts of your brain, the outer part of your brain, your willpower, your ability to make decisions, your ability to think and access memory, remember things, which is why I got you unpinched to start, so that your nervous system wasn't always thinking about something else and you could really start to take this in. So there's so many effects to these stress hormones, and we need to stop the floods of them. The fastest way to do that is to start to notice any of your triggers. What triggers you to release these hormones or go into fight or flight, or makes you feel any of these emotions: angry, anxious, annoyed, or ashamed? So you can ask yourself these questions. When do you tend to overreact? What or who makes you overreact? What makes you feel annoyed or angry? What do you worry about? Who or what makes you feel anxious? What are you ashamed of? So that's the fastest way. These questions are the fastest way to get to your triggers. Figure out what's really causing you to trigger fight or flight. then we can start to do something about it. And this is so important. It takes males up to 9 hours to clear the stress hormones out of their cells. And it takes females up to 24 hours. That means most of us are walking around in the stress cycle, in the stress response cycle. That's what I call it. So when we get free, think about that for a moment. If you're not releasing these hormones, then your cells are able to work at a much higher level for many more hours. So that's what we do here at Pressure Free, and that's what my coaching is all about, to help you actually get everything working better. So how do we stop it? I want you to start to notice your triggers, and when you start to feel any tension or any emotion that's going to take you in a direction that's either too overexcited or it's like you're overreacting to something in negativity or positivity, either way, like you're getting really overexcited or overcharged up or very angry, but it even can be minor ones too. So you're going to start to notice that. And the moment you feel the tension, you've got about 10 seconds to stop the release of the hormones. You can do it so many different ways. In my big course, Optimal Performance, I show you over 40 ways. But here's a very quick one. And other tools that I'm going to share in this, you can start and using it in the same way. But this one's very quick. It's just a smile. But a smile is profound because it keeps this outer brain working for you. It keeps dopamine flowing. That's a neurotransmitter required for this all to work. So you're going to get out of the brain fog. You're going to have better focus, and you're going to have better willpower the moment you stop being in this cycle. So hopefully, are you getting this? It's like so powerful. Your brain is going to work so much better. And you're not going to feel that brain fog. You're not going to overreact in situations. So many benefits to not triggering the stress hormones. So it's just a little taste of that to get you started. And now tool number 2, this is also, I teach in some of my courses, this is a huge thing. It's called the upper limit problem. And the upper limit problem was defined by Dr. Gay Hendricks. I first learned about it in 2008 in one of his books. I call it also glass ceilings. So you can think of it as like an upper limit or glass ceiling. And we tend to have these glass ceilings in every area of our life. So our relationships, our work life, our athletic ability, our academic or mind ability. We think, oh, I'm only this smart, or I'm only capable of doing this. There's like a glass ceiling on all these things. And there's a glass ceiling on how good you allow yourself to feel. So what happens here is if you do something really great and you're feeling really great, you hit this upper limit problem. And then you're going to purposefully find a way to trigger back down into really the stress response. That's what I've figured out. We'll do something that causes us to release stress hormones so we don't feel so good anymore, because there's this deep-seated thing in us that makes us feel that we don't deserve to feel great all the time. And so when you hit that upper limit problem of feeling, you're going to go down. You'll pick an argument. You'll start complaining. I will actually like bump my elbow or bump my knee. I'll hurt myself. It's really weird. Maybe you even do more than that, hurting yourself. So it's so weird what we will do. We will sabotage ourselves. We'll sabotage our relationships. We'll start bickering with someone. It's really, really amazing what we will do because we don't feel comfortable in this upper limit, in this upper area. So we'll trigger back down so we get back to where we feel comfortable. If you've had a disease for a long time, you're so used to it. To break out of it can feel uncomfortable. I know that because I know that I have eczema. I can't believe how much pain I was living with for 35 years. And it was like I almost wanted to self-sabotage it because I was used to the pain. So we need to break through the upper limit problem. And the way I have you do that is something called the dial. This is a pretend dial. I put it here. You can put it anywhere. And here are my settings. Very crappy, okay, good, great, genius zone. So what I do with this dial, you take your hand and you start twisting it to say, you know what? I deserve to have a fantastic life. I want to start living in the great to genius zone area of my dial. I want to break through this upper limit problem and live higher in everything that I do. So this dial is kind of silly, but it's here, so it's like a physical thing or metaphor, but you can touch yourself right here on this breastbone of life area. And when you start to feel anything taking you from your good feeling, you're starting to go down. You can say, no, I'm going to keep this feeling longer. You can do it with your relationships. It's like with your most primary relationship with someone, when you start to, when you have something really great happen, watch, you'll probably pick an argument shortly after. So see if you can stay in the good longer. That's going to help you stay, have longer periods of time when you're not going to trigger stress hormones, but also it's going to help prevent you from self-sabotaging. We usually sabotage right after we've done something that's really kind of great. So be on the lookout for it and turn your dial and say, no, I deserve to feel this. It's a beautiful thing. Tool number 3 is to choose your words. There's a wonderful woman, Florence Scovel-Shinn. If you've ever encountered any of her things, a lot of today's thoughts about the law of attraction and all that kind of stuff, really, Florence Scovel-Shinn was a huge proponent of all that way back when. And she talks about your word is your wand. Like your words are so important. We tend to choose ones that are self-sabotaging. So I want you to take a look at 4 things. Slogans. Slogans are a big tool in my courses. Affirmations, intentions, and empowering questions. So slogans are very quick. Like, here are mine. Well, I think I have a slide for this. Let's see. Yeah. Here are some examples. Mine are stay up and let it go. Those are the 2 biggest ones I have. Stay up and let it go. So whenever I start to feel something stressful happening, I will go stay up over the problems, have a bird's eye view, and I can deal with the problem better. And then let it go. Is there any reason to argue here? Probably not. I'm overreacting. So it's really about moving into maturity, if you will. One of my young clients said, Mrs. Ingalls, you're just teaching people how to be grown-ups, but most grown-ups don't know how to be grown-ups. So maybe you'll feel this too, like you're finally moving into a level of maturity where you're really in control of your life more. 2 of my affirmations are these: I am open and receiving, and I am resourceful and capable. And your affirmations can be longer, anything in any area of your life that you would like to see, move up and be stronger. And then another one that I have is, I am happy and grateful for the fact that, and then whatever it is your fact, whatever it is that you want to be happy and grateful for. Maybe it hasn't happened yet, but you're already planting the seeds for it to happen with a statement like this. I learned this particular statement from John Assaraf, if you're familiar with his work. So slogans and affirmations, and then I'll go back a slide here, intentions. So we're going to talk about intentions in another tool, but intentions are just really putting down a word or a phrase that says, no, this is what I intend. I'm not going to let this person decide how I feel. I'm going to decide how I feel. And then the last are empowering questions. Empowering questions are incredibly amazing because our brain loves questions. Your brain loves a question. It's going to work and work probably all night long, all day long on any particular question you ask it. But most of the time we're asking the wrong question. Questions like, why am I so stupid here? Or how come I'm not good enough? And you're going to get all the reasons why if you ask that question, because your brain is going to search for them. But what about this question? How can I improve this? How can I feel happier here? How can I be more resourceful? In those cases, every time you ask a question that empowers you toward a solution, your brain is going to work and work. And not just your brain, your body gets in the act too. I see, I actually have a baseball here. This, my second cousin was a pitcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Marlins, and God, he was Atlanta Braves. So he was a pro pitcher. This is his signed baseball. And I worked with a lot of baseball players when I first started this program, and my son being one of them. And my son was not a particularly fast pitcher, but he was incredibly accurate by using these tools right here, an empowering question How can I always throw strikes? Suddenly his body and mind were just throwing strike after strike after strike. And at one point in the season, his ERA was 0.51. If you know what an ERA means, that's like a person getting to second base in the game only. And I think he finished up with a 1.71 or 1.17. I mean, it was just an amazing ERA. So empowering questions can get you there. Tool number 4 that I want to share with you today, the 80-20 rule. Maybe you've heard of this. It's also called the Pareto principle because Vilfredo Pareto in Italy came up with this idea that 20% of our actions produce 80% of our results. But we will often spend time in the other 80% that only give us 20% of our results. So what actions, this is an empowering question. What actions give you 80% of your results? Do those first. So here's a way I describe this to my clients that kind of makes sense. If you piled all of your clothes onto your bed and took a look at them all, you would probably notice that 20% of them you wear 80% of the time, and the other 80% occasionally or not at all. So that's kind of an example. Now we keep all this clothing, so now we have to search for the things we're wearing all the time. So it can be very unproductive. This Pareto principle helps you gain focus so you can like declutter your desk. What's the 20% you really need on it? That's all I need. Get to what you really need that fuels you for what you need to do. With your work projects, take a look at what projects on that list, if you did them first, is going to take care of 80% of what you need to do. So take a close look at 80-20. It's an incredible time saver, and it's just a powerful way of getting you more focused, less clutter, less mind clutter, and some real, again, a real toehold into where you're trying to strive in your life. Now, this last tool that I have for you today, of these tools, fast action tools to get you going. This is a tool, I share this in pretty much every course I do. It's a goal setting formula that I created, and I try to keep it super simple because maybe you do a lot with goals already, but most of the people that I work with, like they try, but it seems too overwhelming. And they also feel that if they set a goal and don't achieve it, that they failed. So there's a lot of failure, fear of failure around goals. And some people don't even like that word goals. So that's why here I've written, write your goals, dreams, and visions. So maybe dreams sounds like a better word for you, or visions. Dreams, goals, and visions. So if you could do this every day, it's fantastic. If you even do it like once a week, that's better than nothing. If you do it, a couple times a week, you're going to really start to see something happen. So I aim for every day myself, but if you looked at my goal journals, it's probably like 5 out of 7 days, I'll be honest. So goals, dreams, and visions. And I encourage you, Brian Tracy taught me this one. Brian Tracy's an incredible coach, and he taught me top of mind. So don't worry about what you wrote yesterday. What is it that's in your mind today? Like maybe you want to go to Paris. Maybe yesterday it was Jamaica. So where do you want to go? What do you want to see happen? Dreams, goals, visions, just write a few down. And let go of perfection because we're not going to worry anymore if we're failing or succeeding. We're going to kind of let go of that, and we're just going to start to take action. Action is going to produce results. If you worry and think about fear of failure, if you worry about failing, then that's one of those tightnesses that's going to spill the stress hormones. So we're going to let go of that and assume success for ourselves. Assume success is a slogan I have, by the way. Just assume success and see if you can just start to let go a little bit and be more spontaneous here with these dreams, goals, and visions. Then take a look at them and write down 2 actions that you commit to do in the next 24 hours. Maybe if you're going to go to Paris, you're going to research hotels for 10 minutes. Maybe if you are going to, you have a work goal, you're going to spend 10 minutes making phone calls. So these actions don't have to take a lot of time. They could just be a couple of minutes. But by doing them, you're moving in a positive direction. And then this is a last one is something that very few people do or teach, and that's to add a qualifying adjective to everything on your agenda. What I mean by that is, let's say this is your agenda and you have dental appointment. You would write amazing. I know it sounds silly, but if you do that, it's incredible what starts to happen. And by the way, it's not about the outcome. I want to make that really clear. This intention is not about the outcome. It's about what kind of energy are you bringing to that thing? Are you bringing crabby energy? Or are you bringing enlightened energy? When you go to the dentist, are you sitting there upset that the dentist is taking so long for your appointment? Or are you sitting there thinking about or planning and doing other things while you're waiting for the dental appointment to start because you have a lot of things on your agenda? So what can you bring to the dental office in case you have to wait? Pre-planning. But certainly we're not going to hurry up the person that's in the chair. So add a qualifying adjective to everything on your agenda. What would change if you could break your stress habits? Would you sleep better? Have more energy? Would your brain work better for you? Would you feel happier? Improve your relationships? Would you reduce your self-sabotaging thoughts and habits? What else would change for you? So now what's next for you? You can take what you've learned here and try to apply it throughout your day, or you can fast track your results with me. I've built an amazing course called Get Dialed In. This is a do-it-yourself course with me. It's simple steps to overcome performance anxiety and fear of failure. Two things that can really keep us stuck. Now, I love to give credit where credit is due, and this is the former NHL player Dave Scatchard. Dave actually helped me name this program. So we were together at an event in Florida, and I was tossing out this idea, specifically focusing on performance anxiety and fear of failure, and he said, you just help people get dialed in. So that's where the name of this program came, Dialed In or Get Dialed In. So Get Dialed In shows you how to improve your focus and your willpower fast with proven tools. Just like some of the tools I was showing you today, you're going to stop releasing those stress hormones. It gives you a powerful formula to change the negative trajectory. And I mean the negative trajectory of any area of your life, but particularly if you're doing some sort of high-level performance as a business owner, a professional, a C-suite exec, an athlete, a high-achieving student. It helps you, this program is going to help you create action plans that simplify your work and save you time. It's real. A lot of people say that about my coaching. Thank you for being so real. I'm going to raise my hand when I've done stupid things. I'm going to share with you real things. I'm going to be down to earth and step by step so that you can do it. I love to say that everything in my courses, it's not rocket science. However, we've got years of habits that are keeping us blocked. And those are the things I'm going to work on releasing for you. So with Get Dialed In, these are the 5 sessions that you're going to get. How to have more energy and feel more focus. How to use your mind to calm your body and gain emotional resilience. Simple steps to let go of self-sabotage. Overcoming fear of failure. And then ready, set, go. Routines and recovery tools to stay dialed in. So this is how this course works for you. 5 coaching sessions of videos, ebook chapters, and worksheets sent each week at a value of $1,250. Bonus videos and book chapters from other courses, that's a value of $500. 50% off any live event, that's a value of $500 too. So total value, $2,250. The actual cost is usually $997, but I have a special price. I want to thank you for coming on this webinar, for learning some tools right up front here with me. And so you'll see on the buttons below here on this page that it's $497 or 3 payments of $179. How to get started? There are links on this page that came with this training, or you'll also receive an email with the links for this special offer. I want to make sure that you get the links. You can also just go to elleingles.com and click on Courses to find Get Dialed In. So let's get dialed in. You came to this training for a reason. I know deep in your heart, you know you've got to change something because the trajectory is going not so good in some area. So how are we going to change that? That's what I'm here to do and here to help you do. So let's keep your momentum going and get started today because you are so worth it. So I am Elle Ingalls. I'm the creator of the Pressure-Free Method. I'm a high-performance coach, and you can learn more at elleingalls.com. You can just grab this course, get started right away. It's an investment that will pay off for the rest of your life. So have a beautiful pressure-free day, and thanks so much for being with me.